Hello. So this week we're going to be starting our readings, and I'm going to be conducting the readings. As a reminder, make sure that you're watching these videos, paying attention, because at the end of the week we will have like on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday we'll have like a little discussion about it, and then on Friday we will be having a small little like quiz or answer for you to kind of reflect on what you've read this week. And this week we're gonna start reading. And I think you guys had said that you hadn't started reading it, and it's called Stella Diaz Has Something to Say, and it's by Angela Dominguez, and here is the cover. So let's start. Again, we're going to be covering like same thing like we would in class, like maybe like a chapter a day. Okay, so here is the cover. If you see, and it says chapter 1, some starfish, some fishes. Also, if you see on the cover, she's saying, see, I do, and then she also has little fishes too. Okay, so let's start with chapter 1, and it says, and I'll turn this way, even though I know you guys, it'll be hard to read, but it'll say, chapter 1, the smell of albondigas fills the house when my brother Nick and I come home. Time for our weekly appointment, says Nick, walking in the direction of the kitchen. I nod. My mouth starts to water as I follow him toward the sound of sizzling food. Around the corner, I see Mom performing her magic over a large pot on the stove. Her eyes are closed as she carefully tastes some tomato sauce with a wooden spoon. She's still wearing her work clothes, except she has an apron on and slippers instead of high heels. Mom works every day in an office, which means she can't make dinner weeknights except for Fridays, better known as our weekly appointment. It's also the night we play board games past our regular bedtime. Mis bebés, Mom explains when she sees us. She spreads her arms wide to give us big hugs and kisses. Can I help, Mom? I ask, whipping my lipstick off my cheek, so she's going like this, right? Wiping off the lipstick. Of course, Stella. Do you want to boil the spaghetti while I change mi ropa? She tugs at her clothes and takes off her apron. I say sí, but inside I giggle. While Mom speaks both English and Spanish perfectly, strangers say she has an accent. To me, it's just the way she speaks. Although every once in a while I can hear that she says a word a little funny, like spaghetti. When Mom returns to the kitchen, she's wearing an oversized shirt and jeans inside of her business suit. She leans over the pot of simmering albondigas, wiggles her nose, so she goes like this, right? And takes a deep sniff. Mom says that you can always smell when food is ready. She looks at me, she gives me the thumbs up. Stella, grab the platos, por favor, says Mom. I put the plates on the table while Nick helps Mom carry the food. She scoops some spaghetti and albondigas onto my plate. While she passes it to me, she makes sure to pull off the bay leaf. So here, if you guys see, here is the spaghetti, and here is the albondigas, right? Here is the meatballs. So she's saying that she had her pull off the bay leaf. Sometimes it's called la hoja de laurel, right? So there it is. Mom says that the bay leaf gives the albondigas their extra sabor, but we shouldn't eat it. Nick serves himself. Mom still likes to treat me like the baby, even though I'm in 3rd grade, so she's in your guys' grade level too. Who feels like that sometimes their mom treats them like a baby? I know my mom treats me like a baby sometimes. As soon as we start eating together, Mom asks, so how was your week at school, niños? Nick starts talking right away as he twirls his spaghetti on his fork. Pretty good. I think I'm going to join the basketball team this year. Jason and Adam are joining too. Nick is in 8th grade, and the middle school kids get to play sports. Mom smiles. You're going to get so strong. Nick blushes. Yeah. Plus, it's going to make it even easier to beat Stella at arm wrestling. I'll just practice more, I say, and stick out my tongue at him. Mom doesn't get mad. She rarely does. She only gets mad when there's hair pulling or name calling, which doesn't happen too often. She also won't take sides as much as I want her to sometimes. Instead, she just laughs it off. What about you, Stella? How was your week? Amazing. Today, Ms. Bell said we are going to start sustained reading in class. That means we just get to read quietly. I think I'm going to read about fishes because of Pancho, I say. Mom says, that sounds fun. I bet Pancho is going to appreciate it. Pancho is my beta fish. That is a type of fish that likes to be alone. So here's her picture of her betta fish, or betta. And then if you see, I don't know if you guys have seen these fishes before. Like she's talking about how they're alone. Sometimes these fishes, they'll sell them by themselves, like at Walmart or at the pet store, but they have them in individual cups. So they'll have this fish by itself in an individual cup instead of like, let's say where all of the fishes are, and then you just grab one from there at your pet store. This one actually is everywhere, but by itself. They can be colorful as the rainbow, but Pancho is mostly blue, which is my favorite color. I like that Pancho likes to be alone and is okay with being quiet. Mom winks at me. Anything else? Okay, Miss Bell also said we're going to have a new student next week. I hope it's a girl so she can play with Jenny and me. It's hard to play tag when it's only 2 people, I say, while I slurp on a noodle. Well, I'm certain whoever it is, it will be nice. I'm sure to make them feel comfortable, and I'm sure to just be sure to make them feel comfortable and be my sweet Stella, she says. I nod my head, promise. Mom has no idea how excited I am about the new student. School has been a little lonely without my best friend Jenny in class. I've been trying hard to make more friends, but it's not so easy. So who here has, like sometimes when you have your specific group of friends, and then sometimes like if you're trying to make other friends, it's really hard because you're used to that person, right? So this is what Stella's going through. She's saying that it's sometimes hard to be with somebody else than her friend Jenny. She's saying, the first day of class especially didn't go well this year. I could barely talk because my stomach was in knots all day. Then when I did talk, I messed up. So same thing, right? We all mess up sometimes when when we're nervous, when we're meeting somebody new. I had to read aloud a paragraph I wrote about my summer break, and I said some of the words wrong that made some of the students of the kids in my class, like Jessica Anderson, laugh. I hope the new kid is a girl who's a lot like me. Maybe she loves to draw or has a fish too, or can run fast like me. I'm sure she might be a little lonely or scared on her first date like I was. I'm sure she'll appreciate my help. I'll show her the tricks around the school, like which lunch lady gives extra fries, or which bathrooms aren't as nice. I look over at Nick. Did you learn anything cool today? It's one of my favorite things to ask him at dinner. Everything you get to learn in 8th grade just seems really interesting. He thinks for a second. Well, we studied tornadoes and all types of weather in science. The videos were pretty cool. Tornadoes? They're scary. Wait, can they happen in Chicago, Nick? He starts to snicker. Whenever he snickers, I know he's up to no good. So snicker is when you're like, right? Like you're like laughing and you're like kind of like mocking somebody. Yes, he says, tomatoes can happen in Chicago. I cross my arms. She goes like this, right? And then she's like, Nick, you know I said tornadoes, not tomatoes. I heard tomatoes, and you shouldn't be afraid of them. Then he gently elbows me. Now, Brussels sprouts, those are crazy. I guess I'm making Brussels sprouts next Friday, says Mom, winking at me. Nick groans, ew, okay, no more vegetable talk. Nick is pretty stellar most of the time, but he can still be an annoying older brother sometimes. Nick knows it especially bothers me that he laughs when I mess up my words. I can't help it. Sometimes I mix up the way or words or letters, and when I do, I turn roja like a tomato. That's because the letters sound a little different in English and in Spanish. I'm taking class to help me, but I don't like that I have to take it, and I definitely don't like people making fun of me. So here she has the tornado, right? Her tomato. So at the end, that's how she finishes. So the last sentence that she says is that she doesn't like people making fun of her. So what have we talked about in this chapter? So it talks about it's just her having a family dinner, right, with her mom and her brother. So what are the kind of conversations that they're having at the table? How does she feel like, and like in regard to school, like how does she feel like in compared to her brother Nick, or how is she feeling right now lately at school? What is her social life like? So start thinking those kinds of questions. So maybe for the next reading, or so you can start guessing, like, what is the next chapter going to say? So right now she says that she sometimes mixes up her words, right? Because she says some words in Spanish, some words in English. So do you think that sometimes has an effect on you? Or I know on me, for example, sometimes I mix up my words, right? Because I do speak both languages. So when does that happen to you? Do you sometimes get mixed up?